Hey, how's it going, YouTube? So, I'm definitely liking this new program I got. I guess a lot of streamers use it. This is actually my second tutorial using this, and I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of nice. So, anyways, if y'all want me to continue with the other tutorial to finish up that head model, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that and finish off that complete tutorial series along with a few bonus footage. But I figured I'd go ahead and take a break from that because I'm like 13 parts is kind of ridiculous. So, anyways, in this tutorial series, we're going to be modeling a Chevy S-10. It's going to be a 1990 through 1993 model. So, in my window, I already got this website pulled up. Now, this is called theblueprints.com. You can see it up here. I'll go ahead and have a link in the description as well, if I remember to do it, which I may not, I don't know. I'm kind of a scatterbrained half the time. The reason why I'm starting with this one, that's going to be a very easy vehicle to model. There's not a whole lot of curves, and the overall modeling process of it really isn't all that bad. So in this one, you can sign up just as I have. As you can see, logged in as Jimmie Walker 653. And I already got one pulled up. This is the Chevy S-10 short bed 1990 model. So I'm just going to click on download image. And I'm going to save this in the tutorial folder. You can save it as a GIF. I prefer to save it as a .jpg. Save. So is what I want to do is, if you do not have Photoshop, I'm actually going to show you how I do this if you don't have Photoshop. So one nice thing about all computers, they have some kind of paint tool like this. And you're going to see how convenient this program is. So I'm going to go ahead and go into desktop. We're going to go into tutorial folder. I'm going to go into Chevy S-10, and I'm going to scroll all the way down, and I'm going to open this with paint. Now, for the textures, I'm using my friend's truck up here, and so, you know, yeah, you know, come on, you know. I'm going to close that out. So, with this open in paint, usually is what I'll do is I'll select one of the views. And I just realized something. I don't have a front view of this pickup, so that is not a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in Chevy S-10. Yeah, I was looking for profile views earlier, but I'm just going to type in front view. And we're going to go into images and see if we can find a front. We need actually front profile view. And as you can see, we are not really having a whole lot of luck finding a front profile view, but that is not a problem. Let me just take a quick gander down here, like so. Alright, so let's go ahead and just type in 1990. Seems like it'd be a fairly popular year. And the reason why you want a front view and a rear view, because just like modeling the face, you have to have some kind of reference image to be able to work off of. Let me actually go back into here. I might get lucky. So, those are 3500 series. Let's go ahead and just... Yeah, see all the... Wait, this one has a front view. No, that's a 96. That, my friends, is a problem. So all these right here, and this one I'm looking at, because the nice thing about this website is it'll show you front, top, rear, side. And the only problem with that is all the ones I was selecting... they don't have the front view. The only way to get the... Yeah, see, even on the vectors, I'm actually kind of shocked that they'd even throw those up as a vector without having a front view. That's a 96. That sucks. That's a 98. This is an 88, but that doesn't have a front view. So, is what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can find a front view of this pickup. I don't expect I'm going to find a dead-on profile view. And something like this. That might actually work. Let me take a look at this. So, yeah, we can probably use this. It's not going to be the... This actually is not what you want to use. But, for all purposes, we're going to use it just because, you know, why not? Yes, that's already set to JPEG image, so I'm going to just save that. And we'll have to modify this image a little bit. We won't modify it in Photoshop or anything like that. We'll actually modify it directly in Maya. But, so yeah, we are in Paint. We're going to hold down Control C, and then I already have another Paint program open. I'm just going to press V. And all I'm going to do is just move this into place. And I'm just trying to match up these lines. That's really it. I mean, it is really that easy. Now, when you do this, you're not going to have one that matches up directly. We can save it as PNG, that doesn't matter, so we're just going to save it as S10 rear. I'm going to save it inside my Chevy S-10 folder. PNG, that's fine. I don't care about that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and select the side view, Control C. I'm going to go back into this other one, Control V, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of manipulate this image. I'm thinking something kind of like that. That should be fine. Yeah, calm. There we go. I'm going to click on Save As. And this is going to be S10 side, if I can type. We're going to click on Save. And then we're going to do the same thing for the top view right here. This one, we don't have to have, like, I know, like, part of this is actually showing both the short bed and the long bed. It doesn't matter which one you're going to model off of, honestly. The only thing that matters is that you have your profile views that are close to matching up. And I know that we ran into the issue just a second ago of not having a front view, but I think we can work with what we have. Let me go ahead and save as S10 top. Save. Okay. So what I'm going to do is whenever I pull these into Maya, I'm going to we're going to close this window as well. In Maya, I'm going to go into the front. I'm going to go into View. And we're going to import image. Y'all should remember this from the last tutorial series I've been doing so far. So all I'm going to do is, you'd think it would actually pop up. Okay, there it is. So the JPEG is the one that we downloaded from the blueprints.com, and this is going to be the image that we're going to be using. So I could create this as a poly object and modify it, from there, but I'm not going to because I just don't want to. Let's go ahead and import another image, and it keeps pulling up in the kin folder, which, that's cool. We just got done doing that one, more or less. Okay, so the image I am pulling up of the rear, I'm actually going to be using that one for my reference, for my primary reference. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm actually going to go in here, and I'm going to scale. I love it when Maya does this. I'm actually going to scale this one. It needs to be scaled something probably around here. It's going to look funky here for a second. I'm not even going to lie. I'm probably going to move it probably somewhere around there, and I'm going to scale it down just a little bit more. Probably something like that. And then this is the next thing I need to do is for this one, let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm thinking I'm actually going to pull this in front of the object and move it in like that. So what I want to do right here is I'm actually going to take half of this, and I need to scale it in just a little bit more. I'm thinking something kind of like that. Something kind of like this, just enough to really give us some reference. I'm going to scale it down just a little bit. Okay, that should be fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm just going to move it over like this. Something kind of like that. And so this should give me a visual representation of the model itself. Now let's just check to see if this lines up. It looks like it lines up close enough. Good enough for government work. I think one thing I want to do, though, is probably just move it over just a hair. So now we can see that lines up just a little bit better. Okay, there we go. I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to move this one way back. I'm going to take these two, I'm going to move them way back. I'm not too worried about the windshield view because whenever I go in to model this, I'll be modeling that primarily off the side view. And so that's why I'm not too terribly worried about the windshield. And from the back view, I can just kind of follow the curves off of this back image right over here. So that shouldn't be an issue. For the side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to import the image, and we're going to look for, let's import kin again. We're actually going to look for the side view. We'll press open. We'll just move this back, and then in the top view, we're going to go into view, image plane, import image, and we're going to import, kin bump diffuse thing. No. So we're going to click on the top. We're going to open that up, and I'm actually going to move this one down, I actually need to rotate it, so I need to rotate in the Y. We go into Attribute Editor. This way I can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, you bastard. You bastard. Let's see, where is... You know, on a good day... Actually, let me go ahead and... What I'm going to do is I don't care if it's close. I just want something that... Well, I care if it's close. I just don't care if it's exact. There we go. That should be close enough. And I think mine is getting ready to start messing up again, so yay. Now, you can have these as far down as you want. It does not matter. Like, you can have this all the way down here. It does not matter, because when you go into the top view, it's still going to be the same, no matter where it's at in 3D world space. I've seen some people, whenever they model these, they'll model these as close as together, like, you know, something kind of like this, as they can possibly get it. So, I mean, it's completely up to you how you want to model it. I personally like to move everything back and kind of out of the way. Then the next thing I like to do is I'm going to select the front. I'm going to add these. I'm going to add both of these images. I'm just going to call this font. Yeah. Oh, come on. It's going to be called front image. Save. This one's going to be called rear image. This one's going to be called side image. Now, one thing I should also mention, the reason why I don't do spaces, because I've actually gotten used to programming, and so that's why I don't. But also, image. Another reason why I don't, because in Maya, a lot of these, like if you try to add a space and you hit save, it'll say this is invalid. So that's why I don't. In programming, whenever you, like if this was a function, I'd type it something like this, where this is all lowercase and then the next letter would have a capital letter. The other thing you can do is you can just add an underscore. So that's completely up to you. It's just user preference. I just type it like it was a programming language. So yeah, that's completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and make all these reference layers, so this way I can't click on them and it won't piss me off as much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. We can start anywhere that we want. And usually if you have a high resolution image, in fact, let me just show you the difference. Well, we got this one. This one, I mean, it's not a real high resolution image, but this will give you a good idea. So you can already see that we're running into pixelation here. Some of this will be difficult to model, I'm not going to lie. But if we go into the front, you can see that we can zoom way in, and I mean, we don't even lose any detail. So if you are looking for blueprints, generally, like, let me just see if I can find one that's a high resolution. Like right here. This is the SSR. And, I mean, you can just zoom way in on this thing, and you will not lose hardly any resolution. There will be virtually no pixelation. There will be some, I'm not going to lie. But overall, a higher resolution with something like this will be better to do. So, that's the only thing I wanted to kind of like, you know, throw out there. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So what I like to do is I like to create a cube. Why a cube? Because that's what I feel like. No, seriously. The reason why I like to use cubes, because they already have this shape to them. So, realistically, all I have to do is just come in here, go into face, and then deselect those where I just have this side face. I'll just hit delete on the keyboard. Yeah, I'm going to be modeling this like if it's going to be going in for a video game. I'm going to try and go for something that's close to photorealism. I don't know if I'm actually going to hit it or not, but I'd imagine it'd probably be fairly close. So anyways, we'll click on face, and all I'm going to do is just extrude down, and I'm going to extrude this back. I'm going to press G on the keyboard, and then I'll come in here. Now, you don't have to use a cube. You can actually use a plane. I'm going to hit G on the keyboard, and I'm just going to move this all the way back, right about there where the door is. I'm going to do the same thing, G on the keyboard. I'm going to select this top face, G on the keyboard. I'm just going to start moving this up. Now, I don't want to go too high with this. In fact, I just kind of want to go up to this line, because this on these trucks, that's where the object starts really, where the truck starts curving in. And so, oops, I don't want to do that. Good. We're going to select just these two top faces, top face right here, top face right here. We're going to press G on the keyboard, and we're going to move these up right about there. So let me go ahead and deselect this one back here. I'm just going to move that one back. Now right here, this is where the fender and the hood start kind of curving down. So I'm actually going to try and match those points up just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything that's like super uber precise or anything like that, but you know, it's best to make it kind of close. Now this is kind of wide, so I'm just going to come in here into vertex mode. I'm just going to move this in. Then is what I want to do. I'm going to hide the front image. Let's see, do I want to hide the front image? Yeah, because you can't, well, I'm like, that is kind of flat, but I'm just going to leave it for now. We'll manipulate it a little bit later. So let me come in here. I'm going to select the front part, really. I'm going to select the front part of all three of these faces. I do not have the front part of that face. There we go. Okay. And I don't want that view. I want this view. This is my favorite view. So I'm going to move this forward. I'm going to press G on the keyboard, and then I'm just going to move this forward. I'm going to move about halfway up here. I'm going to press it again, and then we're going to do one more extrusion. I'm going to move it right about here. So after that, we can select Vertex, and you're probably going to want to turn on Transparency. I'm just going to move these down just a little bit. I'm going to deselect those two. I'm going to move this one down just a little bit, and then I'm going to move this set down. And that's all I'm doing, is I'm just moving those down a little bit. It's really the hood contour that we're trying to follow here, and then also this line right here, because this does kind of curve down a little bit. If I had half a brain, I probably would have taken more pictures of my friend's truck. So yeah, yay Jimmie. So I'm going to move this down, probably right about there, so this way we have this little edge right here, and we can really start manipulating that. There we go. Nope. Got that one selected. There we go. I'm going to press G on the keyboard, and I'm just going to go straight down with this and probably move it forward just a little bit, not a whole lot. The reason why I don't want to move it a whole lot is because I actually just want to pull this forward right about there. So I'm going to press 3 real quick and see what we got. Yeah, I think that follows decent. Yeah, not bad, not bad. So I'm going to go into face. I'm going to select all of those faces and deselect them, so this way I have just the front right here. I'm going to press G on the keyboard, and time to start moving these forward. I'm going to move them. I actually need to scale them flat. And I'm going to... This is the interesting section right here, is this light, because, let's see, let me go in, because I know I got a picture of this for sure. So, yeah, up here. I have another image. I could have sworn I had another image of it, but maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just hot. Yeah, I do. Okay, so right here, this light actually kind of comes around here, and then this comes straight down, and that hides behind the bumper. And by the way, that's me right there with the Frankenstein head. So anyways, so what we need to do is I need to deselect this face down here. I need to go ahead and move these down, something kind of like that. Now in this image, if you can kind of see it, this just has a line that kind of goes around like that. So, I mean, yay. But we're actually going to have this follow all the way down, like you saw in the image just now. And there's a few ways we can do this, actually. I'm not sure how I want to approach it just yet, but we'll get there. So, go into face. There we go. I think I'm going to hit G on the keyboard one more time, and I'm just going to move this forward. Now for this, we don't just want to move this down, but we also want to move it back just a little bit. And go back up. So now we have this shape right here. So then we'll go into the top view, and let's turn on the X-ray. So yeah, see, like right here, this actually starts curving in just a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move those over like so. And the rest of that should be fine, I think. So, yeah, there we go. Next. Okay, so right here, this actually comes all the way forward. And so what we can do is we can actually make like a little cutout. I don't know why I keep flipping back and forth. I'm just trying to look cool. We can actually do like this little cutout. And if this is going to be for a video game, just like in the Ken tutorial, we are actually going to come in like this. So I need to click on this and then in this loop right here. It doesn't matter where you end it, because we'll end up straightening all these lines out later on. keep clicking the wrong window. Now, because I'm going to have this one come all the way down behind the bumper, I'm not worried about doing the bottom part down here. The only thing that really matters is that I take this one, move it up, then I select these, and I make them flat. That's the only thing that really matters. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go into Face. We're going to click these faces. And what I want to do is, originally I'd just say, oh, well, man, we can just extrude this in and, we can just extrude this in and be all good. But then when you do that, you're going to run into this, and you're going to be like, what the hell? And the reason why that's happening is because we're just extruding these faces. We're not extruding these. In all honesty, we can probably delete these and then move that over. That is one option. And I think it's actually an option worthwhile looking into. But if we do that, we have to take this and start cutting all the way down. And I mean, yeah, so it can become a pain either way. I'm actually just going to take these two and I'm going to delete them. And then I'm going to go into Face. And then I'm going to do the extrusion. Whenever you do this, you just want like a small extrusion, something kind of like that. Press G on the keyboard, and then you can pull it in. And then press G on the keyboard one more time, pull it out just a little bit. And the reason for this is when you smooth it, now we have this nice shape right here. I know this has like a circle. We'll fix that later on. But after that is what we can do. Is we can take these edges, of course. There we go. We can take these edges, and we're actually going to pull these forward. And the reason for that is now we can come in here with this tool, and we can close all of these off. So I guess we really didn't need to delete them after all, because we ended up doing that. But, I mean, it's personal preference. You can do it either way. Doesn't really matter. The only thing that I would be forewarning you of is that we'll still have to move this over, something kind of like that. And then we'll have to do the same thing with this one up here. Probably this one too. Move this one over just a little bit more, something kind of like that. I'm going to take this one down here. I'm going to move this one in just a little bit, not too much. And so now we can take these set of faces, and what we want to do is we actually want to extrude these in as well, now that I think about it. Okay, there we go. And I'm actually thinking, let's just go ahead. How do I want to do this? Yeah, you'd think I'd be more prepared for this in life, but I am not. So, yeah, basically, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and frame in on these. There we go. I'm going to take these. I'm going to delete these. And I think this is actually going to be a better way of doing this, because with all these extra miscellaneous faces deleted, is what we can do. Let me just come down here. I'm going to select those. Okay, so yeah, these are actually overlapping faces. And what we're going to do is we're just going to move these back like so. Something kind of like that. Then we're going to click on our tool, and we're actually just going to connect these in like so. Press G on the keyboard. I'm going to redo that. Okay, there we go. This part doesn't really matter a whole lot. If I can actually zoom in on the part I want to zoom in on, that would be great. So the only reason that I decided to go this route, because of the fact that, what is going on? There we go. The only reason why I decided to actually do this to begin with is because of the fact that basically whenever we go and smooth this, it's going to make it look just a little bit better. And I got to fix that vertice. So I'm going to move this down. I'm going to pull this back. Something kind of like that. Press G on the keyboard. Just going to follow those. I know I got a hole down here. I know I do. You can't tell me I don't, because I know I do. There we go. I'm going to select that vertice. Aha, I knew it. I knew it. And I only knew that I had a hole because this should have been a quad. There we go. I'm going to delete. There we go. So now I have a pretty little quad. And I'm going to go ahead and select these faces right here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to delete them. And then for here, I'm just going to take this. I'm just going to pull this in. There we go. We'll fart with that later. So anyways, now that we've gotten part of that modeled in. I'm actually going to pull this back just a little bit, something kind of like that. So what we can start doing now is we can start working on the rest of it. And I know this looks like crap right now. Don't worry, we'll get into fine-tuning later on, and we'll make it look a lot sharper. So for now, I think I want to model the hood. I'm going to pull that back just a little bit. I'm actually going to select vertex. I'm going to move these back just a little bit too. There we go. Boy. Okay, so Chevys are really weird back then because just this small little section is the hood. This part back here is actually part of the body itself, and that will run across here. So yeah, I'll show you how to model that here in a second. It's actually not too bad. Not too bad at all. It's actually part of the fender. That's actually the word I was looking for. So I guess what I'll do is I'll take these set of faces right here. I'm going to go into my top view, and I'm going to go ahead and extrude these faces over. I'm thinking something kind of like that. No, wait, that's actually part of it. So the hood needs to come right about here. And then all I'm going to do is just take these and move them back just a little bit. Because the hood is actually, on these pick-em-ups, they're actually pretty flat. And I mean that like they are extremely flat. I'm just going to move this back to right about here. So then is what I'll do is I'll take the face of this one, and I'm going to extrude it out. So, there we go. Grabbed one too many faces. What? What? Oh, okay. That's what's going on. You cheeky bastard. So we got this one that we want where it is at, but is what we need to do is let's go into the cut face tool, and I'm going to make an incision here. Come on. And what I want to do is I actually just want to go across here. Now this is going to look funky. Don't worry about it. I just wanted something that was kind of like, you know, about where I wanted it. And then all I have to do is just move this forward right about here. So it's just the top I'm going to be worried about. I'm not really worried about the rest of it. Let me go and close this one off. There we go. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can go ahead and select the face, finally. And I'm going to press G on the key. No, I'm not. I'm just going to press this, and then I'm going to press W, and then I'm going to extrude it over. Or I say extrude over. You know what I mean. Oi, stupid coughing. Let me start my own band, you know, kind of like Soul Coughing did, but this is going to be called like Dog Coughing or something. Okay, so with these, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this in, I'm going to move these in, you know, probably something like that. And then I'm going to have both of these selected. I'm just going to move them in. Something kind of like that. Now these don't have to be exact. It does help to have them kind of close. And the reason for this is when we start extruding over them, I'm going to extrude once here, extrude once here, extrude again. I'm going to extrude one more time. I'm going to like leave this little spot open. I'm just going to press delete on the keyboard. And the whole purpose of this is when I mirror this across, I can just do my little bridge thing that I like doing. Now I'm going to click on this edge loop tool. In fact, I'm going to show you what happens. If we press 3 on the keyboard, we have this real soft look. But if I come in here and add an edge right about here, you can see how now this, oops, wrong spot. You can see how this now tightens up significantly. So that's the only reason for me adding that in there. In fact, I probably need to go ahead and add an edge loop somewhere right about here. And I'll do one more probably right about here. So this will keep a nice tight profile. Next thing I want to do is go into vertex, and I probably want to go ahead and pull this one back. Something kind of like, I'm going to go ahead and just move these across. I'm going to press R on the keyboard. Let me flatten these out. I'm going to move them back. Something kind of like that. So now when we come in here and look at it, that looks more like a frame. So to give it the nice flat top is what we can do is we can click on the edge loop tool again. And I'm just going to move it up here to the top and, you know, cut it off right about there. And so now we have a nice top flat. Top flat, yeah. Flat top, top flat, flat frame, flat brain. Meh, meh, meh. Let me go ahead and press 1 on the keyboard. We have a real sharp edge right here, so what I want to do is I want to select that one. Let me go ahead and just delete it, press 3, and now that curves a lot smoother. And that's how you can fix those little issues. And you can do the same thing, like you can move this one in too, but I'm not too worried about that one. You will never see it once we get the dashboard in there and everything like that. So, yeah, and I'm not worried about this hole either, because all of this fender is basically going to be cut out. Or you can leave them, it's completely up to you. So anyways, back to the tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to model the hood real quickly, and I'll probably go ahead and call it quits for this tutorial. And let's go ahead and save it as S10. So this way, you know, if something happens, we have it saved and you can continue on. In fact, I hope y'all are saving as frequently as possible. I really hope you are. Because it sucks. I do mean absolutely sucks when Maya crashes and there's like nothing you can do about it except for, like, you know, cry. I know I've cried a couple of times. So what we want the width to have, no. Want to have a subdivision there, or an edge right here down the middle, and we will delete that face. So then, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right about here somewhere. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and model this out. Well, no, I'm not going to model the whole thing out, but I'm going to go ahead and get it started. I'm just going to move it into position. And the reason why I'm moving only the vertices, because this way, whenever I come back into the tutorial later on, all we have to do is just hit Control-G. In fact, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because this object is set to the center, if I hold Control-D, it'll automatically duplicate it over there. So anyways, I'm going to hit save, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.